Something is wrong in the heartland. The air is thick with the scent of unsold corn, and the usual symphony of harvest is gone. Combines are silent, trucks are parked, and grain elevators, once symbols of prosperity, stand full and still. Farmers, once the optimists of the Midwest, now walk their fields with dread. They did everything right, planted, harvested, and produced a record crop. But contracts have vanished, prices have crashed, and buyers are gone. This isn't just a bad season, it's an economic earthquake threatening family legacies. In small towns, talk has shifted from crop yields to foreclosure notices. Equipment dealers can't sell, diners are empty, and dreams are on hold. How did America, the breadbasket of the world, end up here? It wasn't a single disaster but a series of policy missteps and market shifts. This is more than a story about corn and soybeans. It's about trust, trade, and a nation at risk of losing its agricultural crown. The silence in the heartland is a warning. The future of American farming is uncertain. The trouble began in the halls of power, not the fields. Protectionist tariffs on cargo ships and steel drove up export costs, making American grain less attractive overseas. International buyers, squeezed by higher prices, turned to Canada, whose ports offered cheaper, more reliable shipping. Then came new inspection rules, well-intentioned but disastrous. Grain shipments stalled for days, sometimes weeks, as they waited for lab results. Delays and uncertainty poisoned the global supply chain. Buyers needed reliability, and Canada delivered. These policies, meant to protect, instead crippled U.S. competitiveness. Canada saw the opening and moved fast, offering smooth logistics and dependable supply. American farmers, told for years to innovate and produce more, now found themselves hamstrung by their own government. The very system meant to support them was pricing them out of the market. While America argued, Canada quietly became the new champion. The world's buyers followed. The next blow came from Mexico, America's biggest corn customer. Mexico banned genetically modified U.S. corn for human consumption, citing health and cultural concerns. This wasn't just about one buyer, it was a global signal. Other countries, watching closely, began demanding non-GMO options. The U.S., with over 90% of its corn genetically modified, couldn't meet the new demand. American officials insisted GMOs were safe but missed the point. The world wanted choice. The U.S. offered what buyers were rejecting and seemed unwilling to adapt. Canada, meanwhile, had quietly built a reputation for crop diversity and non-GMO supply. When buyers in Mexico City or Tokyo needed alternatives, Canada was ready. They didn't fight the GMO battle, they sidestepped it, offering exactly what the market wanted. As America argued, Canada filled the vacuum. The shift was swift and decisive. The world's grain market had a new leader. As the U.S. struggled, Canada made a strategic leap. They weren't just selling grain, they were selling trust. Blockchain technology tracked every bushel from seed to ship, giving buyers full transparency. Eco-certification programs verified sustainable practices, turning Canadian grain into a premium product. International companies paid more for crops with a certified stamp of responsibility. This wasn't luck, it was a coordinated national strategy. The Canadian government partnered with exporters, providing research, support, and global marketing. Trade attachés became ambassadors for Canadian agriculture, selling not just bushels but a story of reliability and sustainability. The contrast with the U.S. was stark. While America lost customers over disputes and delays, Canada gained them by offering peace of mind. Canada became the premier choice for modern buyers. They weren't just selling a commodity, they were selling confidence. The world responded. The consequences hit hard and fast. Cancelled contracts left a massive surplus. Grain elevators overflowed and crops rotted in temporary storage. Prices collapsed and farmers lost money on every bushel. The pain spread. Dealerships, suppliers, and diners all suffered as spending dried up. Rural communities already struggling faced collapse. Truckers, barge operators, and thousands of workers lost business. The crisis exposed how interconnected the economy is. One sector's fall triggered a cascade of failures. America's reputation as the world's food supplier was in doubt. Buyers signed long-term deals with Canada, reconfiguring supply chains. Winning them back would take more than lower prices. It would require rebuilding trust. The overflowing silos became a symbol of a nation unable to sell its own bounty. While American farmers struggled, Canada built a new global brand. Their principle was simple: give customers exactly what they want. Blockchain and eco-certifications became the foundation of a premium product. Canadian grain was now trusted, traceable, and always on time. Strategic trade agreements gave Canada access to Japan, Southeast Asia, and the EU, markets wary of American GMOs. The Canadian government worked closely with exporters, tailoring products to each market's needs. This customer-centric approach stood in stark contrast to America's take-it-or-leave-it model. The result, the Canadian premium. Buyers paid more for quality and reliability. Canada transformed from a bulk supplier to a provider of high-value, specialized ingredients. They didn't just take America's customers, they changed the rules. The world noticed. The difference between the two countries was clear. Cooperation versus confrontation. In Canada, government, farmers, and exporters shared a vision: make Canada the world's most trusted grain supplier. They moved quickly, investing in technology and sustainability. Public-private partnerships were their secret weapon. In the US, farmers and government clashed. Trade policies and regulations were imposed without consultation, creating confusion and resistance. There was no unified strategy, just competing interests pulling in different directions. Canada saw global trends as opportunities and adapted. The US saw them as threats and doubled down on the old model. Canada's cohesive, forward-thinking approach paid off. America's resistance led to decline. Success in agriculture now required more than fertile soil. It demanded trust, adaptation, and unity. Canada delivered. America faltered. American agriculture stands at a crossroads. The nation must choose: continue with policy inertia, or reform to compete globally. Reclaiming the crown means acknowledging mistakes and shifting from production-focused to market-focused strategies. America must listen to global consumers, offering non-GMO, sustainable, and traceable products. This requires new infrastructure, technology, and a cooperative relationship between government and farmers. Trade policies must open markets, not close them. Investment in trust-building tech is essential. The days of taking dominance for granted are over. The challenge is steep and will require humility, innovation, and unity. The choice America makes now will shape its heartland for generations. The world is watching. Is this crisis a temporary setback or a permanent shift in global agriculture? Some believe America's resilience and resources can spark a comeback with the right reforms. They see this as a wake-up call, a chance for innovation and adaptation. Others fear Canada's lead is now entrenched, with long-term contracts and a reputation for trust. Buyers have moved on, supply chains have changed, and trust is hard to regain. Perhaps the era of a single agricultural superpower is over. The future may be one of fierce competition, where dominance must be earned daily. America must fix its internal problems and convince the world it has changed. The silence in the cornfields is a warning. America can transform, or watch its neighbor wear the crown. The choice is urgent. The world's breadbasket is up for grabs.